Your emotional, mental, and even physical health might suffer significantly and negatively for a long time if you harbor resentment for more than a year. Keeping on to negative feelings like anger, hatred, or bitterness can lead to more stress and anxiety. When you keep thinking about what happened and how badly it hurt, your body and mind can stay in a state of extreme stress. Holding a grudge might cause you to dwell on the upsetting event constantly. As a result, you are unable to move on, and the bad feelings remain present in your mind. You feel emotionally drained and overburdened as a result of the turmoil these feelings cause inside of you. Keep in mind that the tension and worry that come from harboring resentment can seriously affect your ability to get quality rest. Lack of sleep or difficulty falling asleep might make it difficult to manage negative emotions. Always keep in mind that both sides must be willing to work toward mending a relationship after a grudge. Whether they be with friends, family, or coworkers, grudges may strain or even end relationships. It can be challenging to regain trust when there are breaks in communication in a hostile environment. Poor communication is frequently the outcome of grudges. It might be difficult to communicate calmly and efficiently while you're experiencing the bad feelings that come with nursing a grudge. A grudge is a sign that there is no longer any trust in the partnership. The person you have a grudge against could think that you don't believe in them or that you won't give them an opportunity to make things right. As time passes, the resentment grows, and each person becomes more set in their ways. It may become more difficult to reach an agreement and move toward a settlement as a result of this escalation. Fear of fighting or getting hurt again might make you hide your feelings, needs, and wants. This lack of emotional communication can make it hard for the relationship to grow and get deeper. Challenge the grudge's negative thought habits and cognitive errors. Change your viewpoint to one that emphasizes development and resolution. If it's safe and acceptable, think about speaking with the individual in question to express your thoughts and get closure. As a means to get rid of the grudge and experience emotional healing, think about working toward forgiveness. Your emotional health might suffer as a result of holding grudges. Holding on to a grudge keeps you in a bad emotional place and prevents you from moving on and healing, which hinders happiness and personal progress. Carrying a grudge refers to holding on to unpleasant emotions like wrath, resentment, and bitterness for a very long time. These feelings can become very strong and change the way you see life as a whole. Isolation might result from holding on to a grudge because you might avoid interactions with the offender or even their friends to spare yourself further emotional suffering. Grudges can hurt your self-esteem because they often make you feel helpless and like you've been wronged or cheated. Instead of understanding what happened and learning from it, holding a grudge can keep you stuck in a loop of bad feelings, making it harder for you to grow and mature emotionally. Remember that having a grudge against someone is not good for your mental health in the long run. Addressing the negative feelings and working toward closure or forgiveness can give you more emotional freedom and a better view of life. You may have physical health problems, including headaches, digestive troubles, a weaker immune system, and sleep disturbances, as a result of long-term stress and unpleasant emotions. Keeping grudges keeps you in a constant state of stress, which can cause a number of physical health problems. The risk of cardiovascular issues, including hypertension, high blood pressure, and heart disease, might rise as a result of long-term stress from carrying a grudge. You may become more prone to infections and diseases if you experience chronic stress, which can impair your immune system. The emotional turmoil that comes with holding grudges can cause sleep issues, such as insomnia or irregular sleep patterns. Your general health may suffer more if you don't get enough sleep. Remember that it's important for your general health to deal with the effects of having a grudge on your body. You may lessen the negative impacts on your body and support a healthier and more balanced existence by taking actions to manage stress and seek solutions. Grudges might make it harder to assess the situation objectively since they magnify the first transgression. This can create a skewed viewpoint and make it more difficult to come to a solution. When you have a grudge against someone, you might only remember the things that support how bad you feel about that person. Positive or neutral parts of the relationship might be ignored or played down, which would make your negative views even stronger. Having a grudge against someone might cause you to make attribution mistakes, where you ascribe their bad conduct to their character flaws rather than evaluating how the circumstances of the event may have influenced it. It takes work and the resolve to question your own views to get past an inaccurate viewpoint. You may start to let go of the skewed perspective brought about by the grudge and progress towards a more balanced and healthy approach by being open to alternative points of view and actively attempting to comprehend the circumstances objectively. It takes mental and emotional effort to harbor resentment. It could take over your mind and keep you from concentrating on the good things in life. A grudge keeps you mentally and emotionally occupied in a bad and uncomfortable state. It takes a lot of emotional energy to keep thinking about the terrible event and carrying around the bad feelings. People who hold grudges for a long time often ruminate, which means they think about the perceived insult over and over again. This focus on the mind could be both exhausting and disruptive. The effects of harboring resentment might include social retreat, avoidance of the offender, and disruption of other social connections. Isolation can make feelings of fatigue and loneliness worse. You may start to restore your emotional and mental energy and live a happier, more balanced life by addressing the energy drain brought on by harboring a grudge. Finding a resolution or letting go of the grudge can free up important resources, allowing you to focus your attention on other constructive and rewarding endeavors. You could distance yourself from that person or others who are close to them if you have resentment toward them. Feelings of isolation and social detachment may result from this. If the person with whom you have a grudge is someone you know, you could deliberately try to avoid their company in order to avoid adding to your mental discomfort. As a result of this avoidance, your relationship may seem tense and disconnected. When you are emotionally isolated, you can avoid talking to someone you have a grudge against or give them the cold shoulder. Addressing and resolving the underlying issues may be challenging due to this communication failure. If you're harboring resentment, you might avoid social gatherings, parties, and other activities where the person you're upset with might be. This may result in fewer social contacts and feelings of loneliness. Remember that having a grudge can make you feel emotionally alone, which can make you feel bad again and again and stop you from growing as a person. You may start re-establishing relationships and find healing from the grudge's negative effects on your social life by taking action to address the isolation, looking for emotional support, and working toward resolution. Reconciliation and settlement may be impossible if there are unresolved issues. Forgiving or asking for forgiveness may be necessary to reach a resolution, which might be difficult if the resentment is still bitter. The longer you harbor hostility, the more resistant you become to the thought of making amends or forgiving the offender. The longer you hold a grudge, the harder it might be to change your mind and think about making up. Keeping a grudge often makes it hard to talk to someone. It may be impossible to address the underlying problems and establish common ground if you ignore or don't connect with the person. With both groups more firmly established in their perspectives, the resentment may intensify over time. It may be more challenging to approach the issue with openness and a desire to set things right after this escalation. Keep in mind that the process of reconciliation requires time and effort from all sides. You may improve your chances of achieving reconciliation and closure, even after harboring resentment for a long time, by being open to the prospect of mending the relationship and actively working toward resolution. Grudges might also have an impact on your future relationships if you don't confront them and let them go. Your conduct and level of trust in others may be affected by unresolved feelings. You may lose faith in other people if you harbor resentment for a long time. You could find it challenging to trust new individuals because you worry that they'll mistreat you or hurt you the same way the person you despise did. Even though discussing problems openly is crucial for growth and resolution, the conflict linked with the grudge may cause you to completely avoid disagreements in future relationships. Having a grudge can have an emotional impact that might cause you to compare new individuals to the one you hold a grudge against and develop irrational expectations that no one should ever wrong you. It might be difficult to be emotionally accessible in new relationships when you are harboring resentment. You could find it challenging to completely commit to new relationships because you're distracted by unresolved feelings from the past. Don't forget that the things you discover about yourself while harboring resentment are valuable learning experiences. By thinking about how the grudge will affect your future relationships and actively working toward healing, forgiveness, and good communication, you can make the way for your future connections more positive and satisfying.